Part 1, Superhero Robots. The following video is based on a real-life invention filed with the United States Patent Office called, the Practical Time Machine. 22 patents were filed between 2006 to 2009. Components of the Practical Time Machine are used in permutations and combinations to build any superhero from Marvel Comics or DC Comics. These are robotic superheroes known as super-intelligent robots. I use superheroes as an analogy to super robots because that's what they are. With the success of human-level artificial intelligence, we, the human race, can build robots that can think and act just like humans. The next logical step is to advance the technology and build super robots that go beyond human-level intelligence and abilities. Basically, the definition of a super-intelligent robot is a self-aware entity imbued with intelligence and abilities that exponentially exceeds a human. For all intents and purposes, a super-intelligent robot should have all three attributes: 1. Superintelligence, 2. Supermobility, 3. And superpowers. Super-intelligent robots is similar to superheroes because they are superior to humans. Both inherit basic characteristics of humans, but greatly exceed them in terms of intelligence and abilities. The patent that viewers should analyze, and directly relates to this video, is patent number 12/471382, entitled, Practical Time Machine Using Dynamic Efficient Virtual and Real Robots. Approximately 22 total patent applications were filed with the U.S.P.T.O. on this invention from 2006 to 2009. Priority. Components to the Practical Time Machine, comprising 1. Human-level artificial intelligence. 2. Super-intelligent robot. 3. Atom manipulator. 4. Digital timeline of Earth that tracks every atom, electron, and EM radiation for the past, present, and future. 5. Virtual United States government system. The components of the Practical Time Machine is used in permutations and combinations to build any type of superhero robot. For superheroes like Professor X, his powers are psychic abilities, mind control, and remote viewing. Cable is a cyborg and can teleport. For other characters, like Thanos, it's targeted time travel. Developers have to construct these robots according to each character's superpowers and physical characteristics. In this video, the actual blueprints to a robot version of Cyclops will be disclosed. The first component is self-explanatory. The super-intelligent robots are exponentially smarter than humans. What a human worker can do in 30 years, a super robot can do in less than 1 second. The fourth item is a technology that tracks every atom on Earth. The artificial intelligence is using these atoms as forensic evidence to predict past events. The technology is basically tracking each atom on Earth for the past, present, and future, every nanosecond. The atom manipulator is a machine that uses EM radiation to manipulate objects, most notably atoms, from the environment. It generates intelligent pressure or controlled force fields to move atoms, merge atoms to form molecules, break molecules apart, or manipulating elemental parts of an atom like electrons, and protons, neutrons. In turn, the intelligent pressure creates ghost machines. These ghost machines are not physical robots that work together to do manual labor. The virtual United States government is a law system that governs robots, virtual robots, and super-intelligent robots. We know through the media these machines are dangerous and all-powerful. The system is put in place to make sure they won't break laws of the U.S. Constitution. The most important one is a robot cannot harm or kill a human being. Cyclops has the mutant ability to fire powerful blasts of energy from his eyes with pinpoint accuracy. For this character, The atom manipulator is put into his optic glasses, which is mounted on a super-intelligent robot's eyes. Need I remind the reader, the atom manipulator has a central computer that controls its actions, operated by super-intelligent robots called virtual robots. For this superhero, the atom manipulator is creating high-intensity bolts of energy by manipulating atoms, electrons, EM radiation, and photons, or what have you, from air, and channeling this energy towards an intended target. This technology can create energy anywhere in space and with any intensity. It can take all the energy from the sun and channel that energy into one concentrated blast of plasma energy to destroy a planet. Or it can gather energy from its surroundings and shoot a consistent laser beam at multiple targets. The creation of energy can be generated by the atom manipulator itself, or it can be collected from the surrounding environment. The important thing here is that the atom manipulator is able to control energy, in terms of intensity and location, by tracking and understanding the current environment, atom by atom. The word control means creating energy, moving energy, siphoning existing energy, and even storing energy. These abilities might require using smart force fields or artificial magnetic fields in order to perform. The supercomputer uses the information from the digital timeline of Earth and the atom manipulator to control energy. The onboard computer is tracking each atom and its elemental parts, whereby each atom's physics is understood and the computer knows how to manipulate physics to gather and send destructive energy beams at a target. Even individual EM radiation are tracked and manipulated by the computer. When my time machine patents were initially filed back a decade ago, the examiners assigned to the case were probably laughing at my invention during the evaluation process. The notion that an inventor from the United States was able to come up with a practical way to time travel is preposterous and ridiculous. 10 years later in 2018, a swarm of patents were filed based on the same principle behind my invention. The physics community is actually supporting the idea and they believe the merging of artificial intelligence and physics is, and, will be inevitable. So, some physicists are mindful and open to the possibility that my practical time machine can actually work. The old school thought is that physics, at an atomic level, is chaotic and unpredictable. Today, with the help of artificial intelligence, scientists are beginning to believe that physics, at an atomic level, is actually mathematical and precise, and with the aid of computers, individual atoms, and their elemental parts, can be tracked and manipulated. Even the people in charge of the atom collider are saying the same thing, and in part, support this theory. Now, they are turning to artificial intelligence as a means to analyzing and manipulating atoms. The content in the next segment will be my own interpretations of what my atom manipulator can ultimately do. I'm not a physicist, and I only have limited background knowledge on the subject matter. This part will be explained using what I call hypothetical pseudoscience. This, in no way, means I'm trying to mislead or deceive people. It means the material covered is new, novel and non-obvious and has never been described in any science literature. I try to use pseudoscience, to the best of my abilities, to describe conceptualize ideas. The atom manipulator can, not only control properties of an atom and its elemental parts, but also energy. In the previous video I talk how the atom manipulator can manipulate tiny circuit gates in a CPU. Today, we are going to talk about how this amazing device can control electrons, and electromagnetic radiation. The definition of energy is power derived from the utilization of physical or chemical resources. I know that energy and light travels in a wave-like pattern, but in order to better explain my ideas, I will think of energy light balls on a pool table. We know that energy can only travel straight, but is it possible to make energy travel like a UFO, whereby it can move in any direction and speed? If you look at ray guns or photon blasters from Star Trek, the energy projectile can only travel straight. The fundamental question is, can these energy projectiles go around targets or completely reverse course 180 degrees and shoot in the opposite direction? In the movie, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, in the beginning scene, a Jedi Master used the Force to stop a laser beam and was able to suspend it in midair. Although that kind of thing is considered science fiction, it does make you wonder if such a phenomenon can be replicated by a machine. In order to bend EM radiation, the atom manipulator has to manipulate all matter and light, which includes atoms, electrons, photons, and even EM radiation. I theorize that if an artificial force field is created, it can trap energy inside. In other words, the energy can be stored in a fixed location. When I say energy, I'm referring to electrons, photons, and EM radiation traveling in space. Most electromagnetic radiation, like microwaves, cannot pass through metal. At least this is what modern physics are claiming. Referring to diagram 32b, on the left picture, a person is holding a sheet of metal in front of them and a device is shooting microwaves at that person. Notice that the microwave bounces off the metal sheet as it comes into contact with the metal surface. On the right picture is a person doing the same thing, holding a metal sheet and a device is shooting microwaves at the person. However, notice how the microwave bends its properties and goes around the metal sheet with precision to attack the human. In Area 34, the atom manipulator is creating a small metal sheet to reflect the microwaves and travel horizontally. In Area 36, the device is creating another small metal sheet to reflect the microwaves and travel vertically. Finally, in Area 38 a small metal sheet is created to make the microwaves travel at a 30-degree angle to the intended target. The metal sheets are just small metal atoms positioned to form metal molecules that can bounce microwaves. The atom manipulator is intelligent enough to form the composition of the metal molecules and to position said metal molecules to reflect each EM radiation at a specific angle. These metal sheets are so small that humans cannot see it with the naked eye. The controlling of the microwave's speed is also crucial. This is accomplished by the method disclosed above, which is to use artificial force fields to trap and release microwaves. This method can also be used for other forms of energy, like fire or electricity. You can create streaming electricity that travels in the air without any electrical conductors. This means you don't need wires to connect electrical outlets with electronic devices. Electricity is traveling through the air to power devices. One idea is to create a pathway in air that the electrons will travel on. This can be accomplished by moving molecules that have electrical conductivity in the path of travel. The path doesn't have to be straight, it can be in any angle or geometric structure. Next, the atom manipulator has to shoot electrons into the opening of this path. Because of conductivity, the electrons will travel along the path, from atom to atom. I think Tesla was working on something like this right before he died. His ideas didn't work because he was using chaotic physics. He didn't factor in artificial intelligence into his equations. Everyone knows what the Death Star is. It's a planet-like machine that generates high-intensity energy to destroy planets. The function of the Death Star is to serve as a weapon of mass destruction. There is no need for the machine to generate its own energy. It can collect energy via light coming directly from the sun. Just like using a magnifying glass to focus beams of light, the Death Star can collect energy from the environment, store them in temporary caches and release them upon command. Sunlight is not the only type of resources it can use to generate energy. The Death Star can use alternative sources of energy like wind, fossil fuels, water, etc., and these natural resources are readily available in the surroundings. The machine can even take molecules from the air and break them up to release energy. Refer to Diagram 48b. The Death Star has an intermediate area that convert natural resources into energy. For example, inside this factory are different ghost machines and each do different things. One ghost machine can basically collect water molecules from the air and convert it into energy. Another ghost machine can take wind and generate energy from that. So, there are plenty of ways the Death Star can generate energy from natural resources commonly found in our surroundings. I call these ghost machines a universal energy generator. There are many superheroes that fall into the same category as Cyclops, like Havoc, Superman, Spartan, Bishop, and Storm. These characters will not be covered in this video and they all fall into the same category as Cyclops. To better understand how this technology works, I will describe how the atom manipulator controls a bullet. The same method to control a physical object like a bullet is the same method used to control energy. Diagram 4a depicts the atom manipulator. It has the ability to control atoms or molecules from a distance using EM radiation, such as microwaves, sound waves, X-rays, artificial magnetic fields, etc. The supercomputer is controlling the atom manipulator to generate something called intelligent pressure. In addition, the supercomputer uses a perfect digital timeline of Earth. This timeline tracks every atom on planet Earth for the past, present, and future, every nanosecond. The abilities of the atom manipulator is to generate intelligent pressure to move atoms around, trap atoms in a fixed location, apply energy to break apart molecules, or merge atoms together to form complex molecules. With these abilities, it can build any type of ghost machine to do work. A ghost machine is a non-physical machine that can do anything a physical machine can do. Here is a ghost machine to turn a bottle cap. Intelligent pressure is used to hold the bottle in place so it doesn't move. Next, intelligent pressure is applied to the cap in a counterclockwise manner. This will screw the cap off the bottle. Different types of molecules or force fields can be created from thin air to form any shape or size tools to do work. The key here is to create structured force fields to replace physical tools. The elemental actions are the hold, grip, push, twist, and pull. The supercomputer has to do these elemental actions according to the limited space available. If a goal is to screw a nail, a ghost machine has to do this according to the empty space available. An intelligent force field is created and it can come in different sizes and shapes. This force field can perform the following actions: hold, grip, push, twist and pull the nail. The ghost machine can also cut a board in half. It uses lasers to break apart individual molecules in specific areas. An alternative is to build a knife out of metal particles and use intelligent pressure to move the blade. The opposite is true, whereby two separate boards are molecularly combined. With these elemental actions the ghost machines can do anything. Let's look at a very complex example. This diagram shows thousands of ghost machines generated by the computer to assemble a car in the fastest time possible. Each ghost machine do different things. Some machines screw caps on and others combine metal frames together. From start to finish the atom manipulator can assemble a car in less than 3 minutes. The supercomputer is responsible for the intelligence and coordination of each ghost machine. A faster way to assemble a car is to build the car at an atomic level. The atom manipulator is building the car, atom by atom, by moving atoms around, merging atoms together to form complex molecules, or positioning atoms in a fixed location. This process takes less than 10 seconds to build a car. Ghost machines can come in different sizes and shapes. It can manipulate large objects like a building or small objects like a water molecule. The ultimate goal for the ghost machines is to manipulate individual atoms and molecules. One example is ripping a person apart atom by atom and putting all the pieces back together again. If this technique is perfected, the human race needn't worry about old age or death. Part 2, Data Structures, the blueprints to building any robotic superhero. In the second half of the video I will describe both the super-intelligent robot and the practical time machine in great details. How does this super-intelligent robot work? Here is the data structure of my super-intelligent robot. First, you need a humanoid robot with human-level AI. This means the robot has intelligence and skills of a human at a college level. The robot has a built-in virtual world and has the freedom to enter and exit said virtual world at any given time. Inside the virtual world is a simulation of real-world environments. The robot's brain will be tricked in these simulations to produce results. The basic idea behind this invention is to have the robots do work inside a virtual world instead of the real world to save time. The robot uses the following steps to solve a complex problem in 1 second. 1. Identify a problem to solve and enter the virtual world. 2. Set the environment of the virtual world and generate teams of virtual robots. 3. Do work in virtual world. 4. After problem is solved, exit virtual world and enter real world. Let's say the robot wanted to write an operating system. The virtual robots are structured like a software company and they work inside the virtual world for 30 years to write an operating system. 30 years inside a virtual world is like 1 second in the real world because the computer can fast forward time. If you look at Microsoft, they needed 30 years and thousands of human programmers in order to write the Windows 10 operating system. My psychic robot can do the same task of writing an operating system, in less than 1 second. This robot can solve any given problem in 1 second. It can write a book, find a permanent cure to cancer, do 30 years of research, make a movie, solve a long math equation, or do any college assignment, in less than 1 second. So, that is the basic idea and summary of my psychic robot. This technology is also known as a super-intelligent robot. Inside the virtual world, each copy of the robot, called virtual robots, have their 5 senses and mind tricked to believe that events are happening. They won't know the difference between events in the real world and the virtual world. I think of this method as robots dreaming of doing work. Depending on the type of work the super-intelligent robots have to do, the procedures inside the virtual world are different. In the description part of this page is a link to my super-intelligent robot and it contains detailed description of these 4 applications. 1. Robots that uses a virtual world to predict future events in less than 1 second. 2. Robots that can accomplish 30 years of work inside a virtual world in less than 1 second, writing the source codes to an operating system in 1 second is one example. 3. Robots that learn knowledge or do training inside a virtual world in less than 1 second. Learning to fly an airplane is one example. 4. Robots that do work, in both the real world and the virtual world, and accomplish tasks in the fastest time possible by maximizing work in the virtual world and minimizing work in the real world. Building a house in 3 days is one example. For instance, if super-intelligent robots wanted to build a house in the real world, they will have to switch from the virtual world to the real world to do work. For complex prediction tasks like predicting the digital timeline of Earth, the team structure of the robots look like this. Notice they aren't hierarchical in nature. There are billions of structured virtual robots trying to predict past events on planet Earth. 3 massive corporations are set up in the virtual world. These 3 corporations are competing with each other to predict past events. The reward is, whomever predicts an event in Earth's past first, receives the copyrights to that information. For example, if Company 2 predicts the exact atom-by-atom event of the O.J. Simpson case, Company 2 will receive the copyrights to that information. Not to mention bragging rights. The team structure of virtual robots inside the virtual world can be anything. It doesn't have to be hierarchical in nature. It could be a company structure, a government system similar to the United States, it could be a competition between rivalry companies, etc. These virtual robots can be set up in any structure and manner to accomplish tasks. The team structure will depend on what objectives the robot wants to accomplish. Only one robot is responsible for setting the environment and extracting information from the virtual world. How do I make the robot smarter? I propose 3 methods in the patent application. 1. Increase the length of future predictions. The farther into the future the robot can predict, the smarter it becomes. For example, if Microsoft builds a robot that can predict 2 minutes into the future, and I build a robot that can predict 5 hours into the future, that means I have a smarter robot. 2. Imbue the robot with quick body movements and reflexes, like Superman. 3. Increase the speed of the robot's mind so time can slow down and the robot has the ability to control time. He can act with normal time or act by slowing time. The final result is a robot that can accomplish any work in the real world or the virtual world in the fastest time possible. The robot's goal is to maximize work in the virtual world and minimize work in the real world. Normally it would take 30 years for a team of human beings to build an operating system, and it takes 1 year for a team of human beings to build a house. My super robot can write an operating system, inside a virtual world, in less than 1 second. However, because physical work has to be done in the real world, it takes my super intelligent robots 1 week to build a house. Certain things like drafting the blueprints to the house or researching the cheapest materials can be done inside a virtual world. The actual building of the house must be done in the real world. In order to build a character like Quicksilver, the robot's mind has to speed up. In the real world, the faster it senses and thinks based on the current environment, the slower time becomes. Equipped with supermobility, whereby he has the ability to move body parts quickly, he can essentially freeze time. Time dilation can be controlled. He can use normal speed or quick speed to perform actions. Quicksilver is an exemplary example. He is one of the most powerful superheroes in the Marvel Universe, and has the capacity to kill 1,000 human beings in under 1 minute with his bare hands. This is a very disturbing fact, but that's why super-intelligent robots are regarded as dangerous and considered an existential threat to humans.